Focus.
Didn't matter. Quick story, now we can start.
We're recording. I don't want to have to edit all this out.
Like there was like a
Dude, I don't want to have to edit all this
I'll just
out.
start. Bumblebee, good. What? Let's go. Hi, I'm Devin Jones.
Hey, I'm Craig Jones.
I'm all jittery.
Drinking your soda too quick? Your
Okay,
translucent soda?
Alright, let's start.
I'm Craig Jones, and this is Devin Jones. We are father and son, and we're kind of butting heads today, man. Kind of arguing a little bit. But that's what happens between, father and son. We saw the Bumblebee flick, the new Transformers movie, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
All right, let me talk to the parents, though.
Alright.
Parents, Bumblebee is entry in the Transformers series. If you've seen the Transformers series, they're all PG-13. There's a lot of violence, but it's mostly robot-on-robot violence. There's not a whole lot of human deaths in this movie. But stop, man.
Let's say something.
Just wait,
Just say something.
boy. But there's not a whole lot of human deaths. When they are, though, it's maybe a slight little spoiler for you. The humans, they turn into goo and blow up or something, and they pop.
It's weird.
But it's not gory. It's just it looks like
It's just like slime. Like it's not like
slime. Yeah,
it's not
that's what I
like
mean.
bloody. It's just like clear slime that pops.
Yeah, it's like slime.
When this one dude shoots him.
And that only happens a few times. So
I think it happens twice.
The violence isn't that bad. The language, there's some S words, I think, and
Yeah, I didn't really catch a lot of
the language isn't that bad, for a PG-13 film. I would say it's geared more towards smaller children, I would think. This is the first Transformers movie I saw where I thought it was geared towards children and not, adults. So I think if you have a small child, they would be fine. Like 5 and up, I think, would be fine, unless they get, scared of violence and big robots shooting at each other. But I think it's... it seemed like an 80s style kids flick to me. So it's...
I like that house that she had.
Yeah, that house was smooth. I like that too. Yeah, I would love living in a house like
Before
that.
we messed it up.
It's fairly harmless. I think your kids will be fine. You know your kid. If your kid doesn't like a bunch of loud banging and explosions and get scared, then don't take them to see it. But there was only one part that was kind of a jump scare, and it really wasn't scary. It just was like... Something happened, and it's not that big a deal.
Yep.
So it's a fairly harmless film, I think. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's violent, but it's robots beating each other up.
Yeah. You know your kids. This movie is pretty harmless. Yeah,
No,
because like robot violence is just like sparks.
Right.
There's people
One
getting like
robot
chopped
gets
up.
cut in half.
That's what I was going like this for.
He's like, zzz.
Yeah.
But
Pretty
it
cool,
was,
Like, you
it's
deserve,
a
like,
robot gets killed. It's,
honorable death.
Yeah, not that.
And the action sequences were pretty tight. Like they're pretty good.
No.
Like sometimes, like with these movies, the camera's like too close when
I
they're like
agree.
fighting, but the camera was back so you could see like every small little thing that happened.
I agree.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, because Michael Bay didn't direct this one. Michael Bay directed all of them except this one. And maybe it is time for some new blood to get in there and direct these movies if they're going to keep making them.
Yeah. I'm in between with the ratings.
I did like how they pulled the camera back and I could see more of the action. Because like you said, in the other Transformers movies, they get so close in, I couldn't tell what was going on.
Yeah.
And I'll be real with you, I'm not the biggest Transformers fan. I love the first movie. I thought the second one was okay. The third one was boring to me. The fourth one was so boring I wanted to gouge my eyes out in that movie. And then, I hate to say it, but the fifth one, that Nights, the last night or whatever, I actually kind of like that one. So,
I don't remember, like, any
most
of
of the
them,
Transformers movies I don't really like. But this one, what did you think of the movie? Did you like the movie? Or?
Yeah, I like this movie. There are a couple of things I didn't like. One of the things I didn't like it when I saw it in the trailer, and I didn't like it when I saw it in the movie. And I know some people may disagree, is when she's in the garage with Bee, and she puts her hands up, and he goes like, he's not a freaking dog. It's a giant robot.
Well, he had lost his memory.
I don't care.
He was
I
like
don't
a
like
child. He was just like a child,
I don't like that.
They did it to make
like,
it cute,
Yeah, I didn't think it was cute.
All right.
This movie doesn't need cuteness like that.
That is a little bit of the problem I had with it too.
They tried to make Bee like this, like...
It was like a mixture of E.T. and the Iron Giant. That's what I felt like this movie was, man. And
I could see that.
listen, I'm a big softy, man. You know, yeah, I like, you know, hard R, deep, dark stuff, but I also enjoy, you know, a good sappy, family-friendly, you know, movie. The cheesy, I like cheesy stuff too, but this one, the cheesy dialogue was really bad at points, and there's sometimes I like people don't talk that way, and I didn't. There was a lot of the dialogue I didn't enjoy. These are solid actors, but I didn't think they could save it. And
Yeah.
John Cena was like uneven. Sometimes he was good, sometimes he wasn't to me. And
one thing is that one thing I don't understand is when, like, at that beginning scene when John's all like messed up. It's like a slight spoiler, I guess. When he's like sitting in the car like upside down, all messed up, and he sees B walking away, he gets so furious. But B didn't do anything. He was trying to protect them.
Yeah, but he was just seeing red, man. Because all his you know, people had just got killed.
Yeah, but Bumblebee didn't do a single thing. Bumblebee doesn't really do anything bad in this movie. It's like a couple of things.
Well,
but they're just like little like mysterious like. Curious.
Yeah, but the
stuff.
military does what they do in these movies. They look at it and they're like, I don't know. These look like a threat to me. I'm gonna kill it first and then ask questions.
They get with the bad robots.
Well, he didn't want that. I thought that was dope though. That Cena didn't want to get with the bad robots. He didn't trust any of them, which was good. The characters' motivations are all legitimate to me in this movie. I didn't feel any characters were weak. I just thought the dialogue sucked on a lot of it. But some of it was really funny. I didn't love this movie. I think a little kid would like this movie. But go ahead.
Yeah, the one dude, the black guy with the afro. It's like I liked his character. He was charismatic.
Charismatic.
Yeah.
Right, charismatic.
Words.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I liked his character, but I mean, you know, he just didn't really do anything.
He was okay.
I think that they did that on purpose.
At first, I wasn't liking it because it was so like forced. It felt like this is a formula movie, and it was forced because you had the mean girls. I didn't need any of that. You know, the high school pressure mean girl thing, and I didn't need any of that, man. That was all stupid to me. And
take much place in the actual movie. Like, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, and then it did set up a pretty funny sequence with the...
Yeah, with the car.
Yeah, that was... Yeah. But...
I did not expect
the
that
nerd guy, I mean, if you're going to make a movie that takes place in 1987, I'm sorry, I was alive then. And you know what? I was the same age as these people are supposed to be in 1987. These main characters, you know, the girl and the boy that we're talking about, have them look like they in the 80s. I'm sorry, man. Just make people look. These people look like they're modern. You know, the hairstyles and clothes. They look like modern people. They don't look like 80s.
I mean, the
clothes they were wearing were not 80s clothes, man. I was like, dude, make them look like they're in the 80s, man. If you're gonna set it in the 80s, make it look like the 80s to me. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, like the dude, he just didn't really do anything. He was just like there. The only thing that he did is got hurted, get revenge on those people.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
I like that though. That was sweet. That was, even though I don't think that needed to exist at all. I thought his interaction with her at that point was very sweet.
Yeah, like I didn't have a problem with him. Like I said, I liked the character. Just, I mean, yeah, he didn't do anything, and I think that they did that on purpose.
And they make his
cough all messed up.
That's fine, but he's supposed to be like this nerd, and he's so good looking, and I'm like, good, stop, y'all.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem like a nerd.
You know, and she's supposed to be this outcast, and she looks amazing. I'm like, just knock it off, y'all. Yeah. Just stop
Can't be getting these like pretty looking people and trying to make them
and making them the outcast when they look great, they're dressed perfectly.
Like Andrew Garfield in the Spider-Man movies. Every lady that I know is like, oh, Andrew, but then he's supposed to be playing a nerdy Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that role.
Tom Holland, though, I could see him as a nerd.
He can be nerdy.
Yeah. But let's get back to Transformers. I really can't. As far as my verdict goes, I'm kind of in between a misfire and Worth the Popcorn, just because I didn't care a lot about what was going on. This is something I'm probably never going to do again, but I'm going to split my verdict. If it's just for adults going to see the movie, I'm going to say it's a misfire. But for taking like your 5 to 10-year-old, if you just want to take your kids to a movie and have a good time watching a movie, I'm going to say it's worth the popcorn. Because I think this movie is geared toward children, and it's a Transformers movie that's geared toward children, which we haven't seen before. And I actually have some admiration for that, because Transformers really, I think, kind of should be for kids. As much as I love the first Transformers, that movie had a lot of grown-up stuff in it, which I loved. As an adult, I love Transformers, but I think your kid will really like Bumblebee. If you have like a 5 to 10-year-old, I think Bumblebee is a good movie, and for boys and girls too.
Yeah.
I think girls will be identifying with the girl, and they'll love how cute Bumblebee is, and the boys will be identifying with Bumblebee.
And how awesome the action is.
Yeah,
like this opening action
when
scene
he starts,
is pretty freaking dope.
When Bumblebee starts, because he's cutesy through most of the movie, but when he starts, kicking butt at the end of the movie, he's Bumblebee, and he's kicking butt at the end of the movie.
Like at the beginning with all those, there are heavy explosions in this movie. Like they went all in with the explosions.
Yeah.
And I mean, most people are pretty fond of explosions.
Well, not most, but
a lot of people.
I like explosions. Yes,
everybody likes explosions. Anyway, yeah. My rating, this is weird, because I say it's the bomb popcorn.
Well, you can't. You gotta pick one.
I know, but
although I picked two, so
Yeah, I say it's the bomb popcorn because it's not quietly.
Well, I don't have a graphic for that.
It's not. Here's what you can do. I'm gonna say the bomb popcorn. There.
All right. Yeah. It's like in between, but
it's the bomb popcorn.
But for you though,
mine's like a rating higher than yours.
Yeah. See, for me personally, it's a misfire because I really didn't give a crap, and I really hate it when they put stuff in the '80s, but they make it look modern. Yeah. I'm sorry, you can't just throw in some old songs on the soundtrack and make it, and then have everybody looking modern though, and have that fool me and think it's from the '80s. It's not.
Yeah.
I did like there's some jokes about the Smiths that you're not gonna get, but I got it when how.
Yeah.
She kept talking about her favorite band was the Smiths. That's an 80s thing. And the way the jokes were effective. I don't think her delivery was effective, though. I thought her delivery of those lines could have been funnier if it was said differently, but she wasn't born then. So she didn't live through that, so she probably doesn't know that. And I bet the director probably didn't know about it either. Maybe he did. I don't know. But,
I was laughing at some of the 80s jokes. Even if I didn't understand them, they were still funny.
The Smith stuff was funny, but I don't like the way the lines were read. It could have been a lot funnier if they did it just a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then, some of the schmaltzy stuff. And like I said, I love cheesy stuff, but it has to be done right. Like that whole diving thing. Like they took that extra beat for the music to swell. I'd be like, if she just got up there and dove, then I'd be like, oh wow, look at that. But they tried to. Yeah, that's the problem with the movie that I had. They tried to milk things too much. I'm like, they'd slow down the movie to a crawl so that you can feel something, and then speed it back up again. I'm like, no, just keep going, because I would have felt that. It would have made, I would have felt it more if they weren't jamming it down my throat. I think that's a problem That's a problem I had with the movie. It just the pacing of it was. They're trying too hard to make you feel stuff when you would have felt it all. You would have felt it anyway.
So basically, what you're saying is the people that made this movie are tryhards.
Tryhards. I think
they're sweating trying to make this movie.
Well, they try hard with everything, and some stuff they succeeded with, but it's a misfire for me.
Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, I'm saying it's the bomb popcorn. But the funny thing about that is the popcorn we had that night was not bomb.
Yeah, Celebration Cinema, you got to stop. You got to make better popcorn, man. That stuff was nasty.
Yeah. And no matter how much of that white cheese powder stuff I was putting on it,
that was gross
nasty,
too, man. Yeah. Anything you added to it made it worse.
It was just nasty.
All right, enough of that.
Anyway.
So that was Bumblebee.
Yeah.
We sort of liked it, but not that.
It was good, but.
I hate to say this, but being a Transformers movie, I should be like, oh, you got to see it on the big screen. I'm like, nah. Watch it on TV. And I hate saying that, but really, it's just not an engaging enough movie for me.
Yeah, I don't think you would need to see it on like an IMAX. You don't need to do that.
No, you don't. But like I said, if you have smaller children, go ahead, take them to see it. Yeah, they'll like it.
Yeah, little kids will probably like this movie a lot.
Yeah, they'll like it. It's a good family movie, I guess, which is what we're all about. So, yeah,
So, yeah.
on a matinee, go ahead, take your kids to see it. It's worth it.
One thing that I thought was kind of stupid is how she came up with the name Bumblebee.
Because he looked like a bumblebee?
No, she said, like, you sound like a little bumblebee. Like, no, he doesn't. He's a giant robot. Does not sound like a little bumblebee.
Hey, man. Yeah, it's stuff like that. I'd be like... I'd have been more like he's yellow.
Yeah, it should have been like...
She said he looked like a bumblebee.
It should have been that he's yellow, and that earlier in the movie, there were a bunch of bumblebees flying around her, because she was in the car and there were bees there.
Maybe if his face mask had to come down at a certain point, by accident,
Yeah.
and she saw that, she'd be like, oh, you look like a bumblebee.
Yeah, like he had like the little antenna things coming out, man.
Yeah, there's just little things like that. Just, they're not, it's not good.
Like, basically, that beginning garage scene isn't the best for me when she, like, first meets him. There's a couple of parts.
I didn't mind it, man. I didn't mind it. But, yeah, I see what you're saying.
When he does that stupid face touch thing, and he ain't toothless. This ain't no dragon.
Yeah, that felt forced.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's like they're trying too hard to make you feel something when you don't really need to.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of his movements, like... I was like, he's Bumblebee, man. I don't need to see all that.
Yeah. I don't need to see him going like, cowering over into a corner.
Well, at that point...
They kind of like force some of the stuff.
Yeah, but from a narrative standpoint, it's justifiable because he didn't have his memory back yet. He didn't know what he was or what was going on. He just was scared. And I get that. But why would he be scared of some little person in front of him like that?
Because he was probably scared of her the same way that other people are scared of him.
But it definitely it stole from E.T. That whole house where he wrecked the house thing, that was E.T. inspired. It stole from Splash, which is one of my favorite movies, which I didn't really like because of the way they stole it.
Which part? I haven't seen Splash in like...
There's a part where the boy goes, spoilers, where the boy goes and said, stop, to the people coming.
Yeah.
And they don't stop. That's from Splash. And... saying stop to the military and they don't stop. That's from Splash. And Splash, it's very funny. This, it's not. If it had to end up funny, I'd have been like, nice homage to one of my favorite flicks. My cheesy 80s flicks, Splash. So they were trying. It's just that they didn't really hit the mark for me. And one thing I want to say, I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, they leave it open for a sequel. No. I don't know what the heck these people are talking about, man. They don't. It's... They
leave it open for the first movie.
They leave it open for the first Transformers. There is a sequel to this movie. It's the first Transformers. They're like, oh, they obviously leaving it open for a sequel. No, they're not.
This movie doesn't need a sequel because it already has one.
They're not. And people are saying, well, no, they're leaving it open for them to go to Cybertron and have a whole movie on Cybertron. That's wishful thinking. This movie does not lead you there. I'm sorry. It doesn't.
Like,
it just doesn't, man.
You didn't even really, see Cybertron. Like...
Cybertron's in the beginning of the movie, and they don't
see him for like a very short period of time.
They don't talk about going back to Cybertron. They talk about sort of, but not. They don't hint toward a movie where it's going to be on Cybertron. They might do that if they make a movie like that, fine. But this movie is not a precursor to that. This movie is a precursor to the first Transformers.
Yeah, you see him transform into the car.
The Camaro or whatever he is, man. I'm like,
I think it's Camaro. Yeah, you see him turn into the car that's in the first movie. You see him just driving off by himself. Yeah. Where do you think this is going to lead to?
People would be like, leave it open for a sequel because she's driving away in the car, in the red car, and he's doing his own thing with Optimus. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I missed something.
What does the red car have to do with the sequel at all?
Absolutely nothing. That was the end of her story because she's driving off to live a life that she couldn't live before because she had some healing to do. That's what,
Yeah, like that's what you should be taking away from the end of this movie is that, like, all right, she's done. He's about to go do some stuff and meet this one dude. What was his name? I haven't seen the
Sam?
Yeah. Go meet this dude.
He's going to meet Sam like 30 years later. He's going to meet Sam. 20 years later, whatever.
I don't need to see. I don't care. I don't need to see anything in there. No. The gap has been filled with nothing. It's perfectly fine the way it is.
But and it does work because they never, in the first Transformers, they never really explained why Bumblebee was here. He just was here.
Yeah.
They sort of did.
So,
but this one, you got to see how he got here,
you have like a
why he's here, and
why he can't talk.
Why he can't talk, and it works, man. It's a nice prequel.
I need to go back and watch those movies again because I haven't seen them in so long.
It's a nice prequel. We own the first one, but that's it because I never bought the other ones because they really weren't worth owning to me.
We have all 3.
There's 5 of them.
Yeah, but we have like the 3 first ones. Whatever. I think I just heard a bug fly by me.
A bug?
I heard like a yeah.
Was it a bee? Was it a bumblebee? No.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad at some things about this movie.
Well, talk about them.
We already did.
Oh, okay.
Like that bumblebee thing. I was like, man, what?
For me, that stuff didn't bother me. It was I was groaning at the Mean Girls stuff and all that. I was just like, what am I? Why are you doing this? You know?
I mean, like they have that in a lot of movies with like the Mean Girls stuff going on.
Yeah, but can you have? Ask the question. Can you have a movie where there's a female lead character who's in her teens and leave that crap out? Does every movie about a teenage girl have to have a group of ultra mean chicks picking on her?
I don't know.
I don't think you have to do that anymore, man. Because, I don't think it has to be in every movie. And pretty much every movie I see with a teen, unless she's dying of some disease, which they make a lot of those now. Most of the teen girls you see, there's always some mean girls coming after them. And I think if it's an integral part of the story, go ahead. But I think it's just sandwiched in there just for the heck of it because it's a formula type thing.
Yeah, I would be fine without all that stuff.
Yeah. I did like the way they made her stepdad kind of a nice guy. He wasn't a jerk.
Yeah.
That's something that is changing in modern movies. They're not making the stepdad
like always like this really mean dude.
Yeah, or like in Venom, how the new boyfriend wasn't a jerk.
Yeah.
I
like that. I like seeing that.
Yeah, you like seeing people get along. I like that.
And like sometimes you just don't like them because they're not your dad. Like in this movie, the dude, like he's a nice guy. Some of the things he does are kind of stupid, but she doesn't like him because she was so close to her dad. You
never have that feeling that she hates the guy.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want him around. She just you don't even feel that. She is, like you said, that's not my dad.
Yeah,
she wants her dad.
She just avoids the dude.
Yeah, she just wants her dad around, and she that's not a spoiler. They tell you right away that the father's gone. He died. So
And they don't tell you that in the trailers, but
no,
spoiler.
but in the first 5 minutes of the movie, that dude's dead. So we're not spoiling anything. That was Bumblebee. We saw Bumblebee. We weren't impressed, but it's good for kids, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's probably going to be the last movie we see this year, really, because you're going back to your mother's tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
The year really went out with a bang on that one. Bumblebee. Ooh.
We got for me. I just kind of discarded anything that came out after Spider-Man for this year. So for me, the year ended with Spider-Man.
I know. Spider-Man was good, but I still love Isle of Dogs better. I do. Okay, we're gonna end this movie because we're gonna end this movie review because we're gonna go to the movies to see a superior movie, which is Spider-Man, which we've already sort of seen. But
I'm triggered.
You're triggered.
Saying Isle of Dogs is better than Spider-Man.
For me, it was.
You talking about,
for me, it was. Isle of Dogs was a dang near perfect movie for me.
Spider-Man is perfect.
There you go. And that's perfectly fine. That you can love, because I like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is
glad
perfect.
You love the movie.
Isle of Dogs is also pretty perfect, but Spider-Man is better.
I
feel like me being a humongous Spider-Man fan probably
it's you being
aids that.
You being a 12-year-old kid. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is going to appeal to you more than Isle of Dogs was. Now, me being a guy in his 40s,
but I still love Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs appeals more to me because there's more of an adult sensibility to it. So you loving Spider-Man more than me is perfectly logical, And me loving Isle of Dogs a little bit more than you is perfectly logical. Now, when I was 12, if I saw both those movies, I'd probably agree with you.
There's a thing I want to do, but I can't do it.
What?
It would involve me breaking things, so I can't do it.
Dude, it's
just for being dramatic.
Are you gonna be one of them cats like, you better like the movie I like, or I'm gonna beat you up?
I really don't care.
Yeah, okay, well,
just
relax,
being dramatic.
Then, man.
Yeah, I don't want to go like.
I am still your father.
Being dramatic. So.
I'm not a violent dude, but don't think about it. Don't test me.
All right, bye.
Yeah, you better end that.